Single lens reflex cameras have been around since the 1940s and were always a popular choice for professional photographers. They differ from other cameras where they give the ability to see what is actually being taken through the lens using a prism system, very similar to what you'd find on a submarine telescope. It also incorporates a mirror which has the ability to flick up and flip back down in a reflex action every time the shutter is pressed, and this is what gives an SLR its distinctive sound. We'll now just take a quick look at the basic functions of a Nikon 5100, which is one of the cameras that's available from the technology stores. On the side of the lens you've got a switch for auto and manual focus, the on-off switch for vibration reduction, the function key and self-timer. This can be programmed to do other functions. The flash pops it up, or you can change the flash functions. On the top we have the on-off switch and the shutter, the silver button in the center. On the lens we have changing the focal length. Here we have 18mm to 55 by turning the ring. The D5100 has video capabilities, and the red button you use to start and stop video recording. The button on the right is the exposure compensation button and aperture button. Then there's an information button underneath. On the right side of the settings dial there is a live view switch which toggles between the viewfinder and the LCD screen. Onto the functions on the rear of the camera. The LCD screen is capable of being pulled out and flipped around. This is more useful when shooting video rather than stills. There's a menu button at the top right which will bring up the menu settings on the LCD screen. On the right of the viewfinder there is another information button. Press this twice to toggle between a more visual and classic LCD screen for the information settings. Next along on the right is the autofocus lock and unlock button. To the right of this there is a thumb wheel. You use this to change the aperture and shutter speed. Underneath this there's a preview button for previewing your photographs and videos. Underneath that are the menu option buttons. Then there's a status light, and finally there's the delete button and also magnification buttons, and also a help button that has a question mark above it for giving support in using the menu system. Right, we'll move on to the settings ring, which is located on the top right of the camera. First, there's the manual setting. Use this to have fully manual control over the camera. The next is the A setting, which means aperture priority, which means that you manually change the aperture and the camera then adjusts the shutter accordingly. Then the S setting is shutter priority, so you change the shutter speed and the camera automatically changes the aperture. Then there's the P or program mode. That's sort of automatic, but you can have some control over adjusting different available settings. Then the green logo is for fully automatic. The no flash setting. Then we have the scene setting. You can go in there to select different scenes like fireworks, sunsets, that sort of thing. Then there's other settings to do with portrait, landscape, photographing children or fast moving objects such as animals. Also we have the sport setting, which is again to capture fast movement. The flower icon is for macro photography, taking things close up. And then we have the effects. The effects are quite useful. There's things in there that you can do tilt shift or what they call miniature photography or films.